The question that I like to start off with, Becky, is tell us, why did you initially invest in nutrition coaching? What were you feeling? What was the goal that you were hoping to reach?
I initially invested in nutrition coaching because I didn't really feel comfortable in my body. I know I've always been a person that people have said, "Oh, you're skinny, you don't have anything to worry about," or those types of things. But we're each our own worst critic, and I would compare myself to other people, and I just wasn't comfortable or happy. And I would do the restrictive dieting, and then the bucket spiral, and then back to restrictive dieting, and it wasn't good for me. I didn't feel as good, and I wanted that. I wanted to have a better understanding of the foods that my body needed to be properly fueled. So I followed you and several other different nutrition coaches for a little while, kind of, Facebook and Instagram stalking, I guess, and learning as much as I could and about your personalities and things, so that I could find somebody that I thought would be comfortable and help me to achieve those goals, to feel comfortable in my body and to have that food freedom.
I love that you did your research, like finding someone
Yes.
that you knew you were going to connect with, but also knew was experienced and educated and could help you reach your goal. But I'm sure, Becky, there was still an element of fear that maybe held you back. So was there something that kind of was top of your mind, like the number one fear that you had before making the commitment?
I guess failure. Failure is always, and to me, the biggest fear I have. And so it was, if I spend this time and money to, investing in myself, and I fail at it, was a big fear for me, is kind of throwing away that time and money on something that I might not be successful at.
And here you are several months later, having done the opposite of failed. You've succeeded
Yes.
in so many ways. We just had you do your reassessment and you said, okay, I crushed all of these goals, moving on to the next goals. So what was it that helped you overcome that fear of failure? Like, what conversation did you have with yourself?
Just reminding myself that you are here for encouragement more than criticism of me, and that's a huge thing for me. The accountability is, to me, one of the biggest benefits of this, knowing that I'm going to report to you on our one-on-one calls how things are going. And I've had a couple different one-on-one calls with you where I've said, this week has been awful, I've fallen off, or I haven't even managed to touch my goal. And rather than saying, "Oh, I can't believe you didn't, try," you say, "Okay, well, what was going on? And let's reassess, and let's not add more to your plate. Let's take a step back." And those things have really just kind of helped move past that, and made me realize that I really had nothing to fear coming into this, and which is part of that great fit that I found by doing the research ahead of time.
And I think maybe just having that hard conversation with yourself and realizing that the only way that I can fail is by holding myself back, because you have shown such great dedication and commitment. And in my mind, as a coach, like, you can't fail. Like, it is impossible if you are constantly saying, okay, wasn't the best week ever, but moving forward, what can I do? And you've demonstrated that time and time again. So no failure. And if there is a week of failure, a moment of failure, we reframe that as feedback, right? And we fail
Right.
forward and get better and stronger moving forward, which is awesome.
Exactly.
So Becky, everyone's probably dying to know, tell us a little bit about the progress that you have seen. Like, what success have you achieved by focusing on your nutrition, and how has coaching helped you reach those successes?
I've lost weight and I've lost inches. Not that I really came in here necessarily with goals of losing any amount of pounds or size or anything. It was just, for me, it was about the overall healthy feeling. So this is an added bonus, obviously. We've talked about how I had two pairs of black dress pants that I hadn't worn since before I had my son 3.5 years ago. And those fit amazingly, and I can wear them to work again, which is nice, of course. But my body just feels overall fitter, I guess, and tighter. I don't know how else to explain it than that. Just healthier.
She says as her guns are popping out of the sleeve of her shirt. Yes, you definitely have, I mean, leaps and bounds. You came into this wanting to focus mostly on your relationship with food, and the body composition changes kind of were a bonus, which has been awesome. So Becky, final question. Tell us, would you, based on your personal experience, recommend one-on-one coaching like this to someone who was struggling or was in a similar place where you were before you made the decision to invest in coaching?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the best decisions I made this year. I think it's the encouragement that I get from this, and the way I feel about myself from both the physical aspect, but then the mental aspect of it too. The knowledge I've gained about the foods that I eat or should eat or can eat still. My love of Oreos, which I talk about often with you, and still being able to enjoy those and make all of the progress that I have made is a huge reason that I would encourage anybody to try one-on-one coaching like this.
I said it was going to be my last question, but I lied because I think there's something that I just want you to share. So you are a very successful attorney. You are a very successful mom and wife, and you have a consistent workout regimen. Like, I don't know how you do it all. And yet here you are continuing to make time for you. So I know there are a lot of other moms and maybe entrepreneurs or full-time employees out there who are like, how do I juggle it all? How do I make time for me? What would you say to them? Do you have any advice? Like, I'm putting you on the spot, but
It's okay. That it's hard and you'll struggle, but it's a necessary requirement of having a healthy life. And I do struggle with that. And again, that was part of the fear we talked about earlier. The fear of failure at this was because I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm squeezing one more thing into my already, crazy, chaotic, busy life. It's taking time or money away from other things, and I don't want to fail. But knowing that it's something that's just for me, initially, it's purely meant for me. I mean, yes, there are benefits that my husband gets to see and my son gets from like all the healthy foods and things we're eating, but this is like probably the one true thing I'm doing just for me. And self-care is very important for anybody, whether they have a crazy, chaotic, hectic life like me or not. And so I think that that's just reminding yourself, which I needed you to do. I believe that one of my action items one week was just self-care. So every once in a while, we need that little kick in the pants reminder that you need it. And that's what this is for me.
I love that. You can't take care of anybody else if you're not taken care of.
Yes,
Oh, great.
absolutely.